Welcome to Bug on a Windshield, vlog number 5. We're going to talk about shaming. Go along to get along. Don't make waves. We need to consider the greater good. These are sayings tossed out, maybe because of fear. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people. Natural remedies have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years. I am an eclectic doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a traditional naturopath, which means I use a plethora of things to support health and help people get back into balance. One of the things that I focused on in my 40 years of practice have been around emotional healing, because I feel that when the emotions are not being satisfied, not being quantified, not being heard, these are situations that create imbalance. So I created Bug on the Windshield as a movement to help people process what's going on, what has interrupted their life in the last maybe couple of years, maybe even more, and how we can get back into balance. I feel that many of us have been distracted from our primary goal, which is health and happiness, however that helps us to achieve that, whether it's security of having enough food to feed the family, a house with warm or cool, so that you can be comfortable, just a sense of well-being. Wear a mask. Don't you know that you are killing people with your disregard? Why haven't you been vaccinated? Don't you know that we can't get back to normal until everybody is vaccinated? Are these really true statements, or are these statements being perpetrated for a goal? Not our goal, somebody else's goal. These bugs have slammed into my windshield by people who maybe are fearful, but this go along to get along, when I heard that, I immediately thought of a time years ago when my husband and I had the opportunity to visit Germany. We had a hotel room in Munich, and I particularly decided I wanted to visit Dachau. I have heard so much about this horrible concentration camp that I decided I needed to see it for myself. Well, Dachau was the first Nazi concentration camp in Germany. It was established on March 10th, 1933, slightly more than 6 weeks away from Adolf Hitler being called chancellor. Now, this man had an agenda. Within 6 weeks, he was building the first concentration camp. I have to give it great credit to the German people for keeping this open, for people to be aware of how easily fooled we can be. This model, it was the first, so it was the model for other SS organized camps. And it was a very dark time. What brought the German people into awareness? What made them decide? Before we even entered the camp, I looked around and it was neighborhood, homes. And I thought to myself, how did these people not know what was going on? Why did they not question this huge facility in their neighborhood? Why did they not know that there was an agenda behind this concentration camp? What did they think was going on there? This go along to get along, I immediately just shuddered because that's what those people did. They went along so that maybe they wouldn't be noticed. If they spoke up, maybe they'd be thrown into the camp. It wasn't just Jews that went into that camp. Look into the history of it. Do some research yourself. There's amazing how many people were put in that camp, starved to death, and led horrible lives, and seen their relatives die in awful ways. And it was one of many, not the worst either, because they did no cremation there. They did no burning of bodies or gas chambers. It was horrible in itself. They did atrocities. They did scientific discoveries on people. And those scientists, even though we had the judgment at Nuremberg, those scientists continued to do their work. And I believe that their downline have continued to do their work. So recently I viewed a video on YouTube. I hope it stays on YouTube. You know how censored that can be. But this documentary was filmed by the BBC, and it was called Guinea Pig Kids. I'll leave a link in the description below. It's not a long documentary. I think it told within a half hour. Our government agencies have betrayed us. They've been betraying us for a long time. The NIH and people who are involved in this corruption, like Dr. Fauci, have to be exposed, and they have to come to the realization how wrong they are. I urge you to buy the book, The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It is a revelation. And I think that many people don't realize what's going on. Maybe if they realize what's going on, maybe they're doing the let's get along, do the thing, you know, even though it's immoral and it sticks in my gut and makes me feel awful and causes awful physical reactions because you're holding all this guilt in that you need to be doing something. If you can't do something, at least don't shame somebody who is doing something, who has some courage to come up with this ability of ours to have free speech, to talk and discuss. We've lost that ability. We hear one story. When in history have you only heard one story? There is another story, many stories, and they need to be heard. And you need to have the ability to agree or disagree. I've shared one of the ugliest bugs that I have with you. What bugs are you dealing with? Please comment, share your concerns. This is what this is about. And if I have to move to BitChute to be safer on this subject, I will. And I will tell you that I've moved to BitChute because freedom of speech in this country is a precious commodity that we're losing. I want to keep the the communication going. I want people to feel free to talk about these things, these awful, hurtful things. If I don't want to be jabbed, I should have the right not to. If I don't want to be tracked on everything I do, I should have the right not to be. It should not be put on my phone. It should not be jabbed into me in a serum. We as Americans have the right to live life the way we want to live life, as long as we are not harming others in doing so. I know this has been a heavy one, and I apologize for that, but I think sometimes we need these poignant issues to be brought up so that our emotions can be told and can be heard, and that there's compassion still in human beings to enjoy and be with those people that they love, and be able to be okay with them having a different point of view, and love them just the same, because we are not carbon copies. We are individuals, and we all have different thoughts. And that's what helps make the world go round. If we are a bunch of robots, how uninteresting that would be. So this is Dr. Mary for the health of it. And until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this blog and will share it with others.